In this lesson, students will gain an understanding of what the distributive property is and use it to decompose larger area models. In order to understand the distributive property and the models we'll be using today, students need to rely on their knowledge gained in prior lessons on finding the area of rectilinear figures and writing equations for them. Let's look at an example. Let's first outline a 4x7 array on a piece of grid paper. By now, your child should recognize that this represents 4 times 7 because there are 4 rows with 7 in each row. What they may not know is what 4 times 7 is without skip counting or counting individual squares. While these methods will lead them to find the answer, we want them to make connections between numbers and find efficient strategies for solving multiplication problems. So instead of solving 4 times 7, we can divide this rectangle into smaller parts that we can solve more easily. For example, let's draw a horizontal line to separate this into 2 equal parts. Now I have 2 rectangles that have 2 rows. If you take a look at it, the 2 plus 2 still equals 4. I haven't changed the size of my rectangle, just how I've separated it. Now that I've separated 4 on my model, I'll rewrite my equation to reflect those changes. I'll rewrite the 4 as 2 plus 2, and I'm still going to multiply it by 7. In order to solve this problem, I need to use the distributive property, and the distributive property says that both numbers need to be multiplied by the 7. So now I can rewrite this 2 times 7, then I'll write the next 2 times 7, and remember we're adding those 2 together. Now I need to think about order of operations and finish solving the problem. Which should I do first, multiply or add? Using math sense, I know that we find the area of the rectangles first, which means we need to multiply first. So in both cases, 2 times 7 is 14. Finally, I would add the 14s together for a total of 28 square units. Let's take a look at one more example. This time, let's draw an array or rectangular model to represent 7 times 6. There's 7 rows with 6 in each row. Looking at the 7, this time let's divide it with 5 on one side and 2 on the other. All I did was took the 7 and separated it into the 5 and 2. Now looking back at our problem, I'm going to make my equation reflect the separation on the model. I just took the 7 and separated it to 2 and 5, and 2 plus 5 still equals 7. I'm going to still multiply that by the 6. I know the distributive property says that both the 5 and the 2 must be multiplied by the 6. So first I'm going to multiply the 2 by 6. Then remember to add. And then I'm going to multiply the 5 by the 6 using the distributive property. Now I need to remember order of operations and think, do I multiply or add first? Remembering that I'm finding the area, that reminds me that I need to multiply the numbers in parentheses first. So first I would do 2 times 6, which is 12, and 5 times 6, which is 30. And then finally, I would add those 2 numbers together for a total of 42. A solid understanding of this property is key in helping your child to make sense of multiplication in 3rd grade and beyond.